What is this video, you might be asking yourself? Well, I got some books that I'm gonna talk about. You probably already know what the video is because the title of the video probably says book haul in it, so spoiler, it's a book haul. Before we get to the books, I quickly want to mention a good family friend of ours is running a bonfire campaign selling t-shirts, sweatshirts, things like that for Intermountain Therapy Animals and their READ program. It is essentially a program in which it helps kids learn to read, and they have a lovely furry friend next to them while they read. It's totally adorable. It's a nonprofit that they run, and this is just sort of to get funding for this program that is super cool. And I know a lot of you love dogs and reading. That's why you watch BookTube. I have 3 dogs myself. Here they are. And you know, we love books here. We love dogs. And I actually got one of the sweatshirts. My wife is getting one of the longer crew cut sweaters. They look super cozy. They come in a bunch of different colors. It's up for another 15 days as of this airing. So check it out if you want to support that, you know, a good cause. And let's get to the book haul. All right, first off, I'm not getting to the pretty ones yet. You've probably already figured out what these are, but this is going to be a mix of sci-fi and fantasy. That is, after all, what I'm doing at this channel. So I went ahead and I picked up The Exiled Fleet, which is book 2 of this space opera, of which I do not know the name of. It's The Divide. Got it. So I actually have The Last Watch, or Last Watch, The Last Watch, Last Watch, Watch It One Last Time. It is a new space opera, great, you know, classic sci-fi. Long time buddy in Discord, Brent, has actually read Last Watch and I believe is about to pick up Exiled Fleet or has already started it. I know he speaks pretty highly of the first one. I'm really looking forward to these because I love space operas. I haven't, you know, gotten to Last Watch yet, but I know from several friends of mine that have actually read it that it's pretty good. So I'm definitely excited to get into that once I continue through The Expanse and all that stuff and just get all of these different space operas going. So Exiled Fleet, book 2 of The Divide. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a trilogy or a quartet or what. I feel like a lot of, you know, book series go the trilogy route these days rather than... So I just opened up the first page. I haven't read the first book. First line of this book, motherfucker, you better work. Let's go. All right, next up is my first William Gibson novel, Neuromancer. Now this comes in a million different shapes and sizes and editions. I went for the mass market because as much as I do not like mass markets, when it's like a 300-ish sci-fi novel, 300 pages, I find it hard to justify like the really big expensive hardcovers when it's such a short book. Now, maybe if I really love it, I'll get a different copy, but I'd much rather opt for the $9 mass market rather than like a $17 trade paperback or like a $25, $30 hardcover. When it's just not that long of a book, like I can spend $30 and get, you know, Rhythm of War, which is 1,100 whatever pages long for $30 in hardcover. So yeah, Neuromancer though, pretty classic sci-fi, won a bunch of awards. I believe it's Cyberpunk Forward. I believe it's Cyberpunk, right? Is that it? I know this is a pretty... not like a heated discussion one, but kind of up and down opinions. I've heard a lot of people hate it and a lot of people love it. This does actually say on the back here, it was the first fully realized glimpse of humankind's digital future, a shocking vision that has challenged our assumptions about technology ourselves, reinvented that the way we speak and think, and forever altered the landscape of our imaginations. And then of course, again, with the theme of the, you know, big font mass markets that are basically the size of like a Discworld novel, Starship Troopers by Heinlein. So Robert A. Heinlein, I don't know his entire catalog of books. Starship Troopers is a classic movie and book. What I understand is this is drastically different than the movie. Now, someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I believe the book takes a more direct stance on the subject matter, as if like the militarization of society is like what you should do, whereas the movie seemed very much a parody of that and didn't really take itself that seriously. It's pretty over the top and it's awesome, first of all, but I'm interested to see what inspired it, because the book, I'm pretty sure, has a very different tone for what it's trying to get across. I mean, it even says it on the back, you know, in Robert A. Heinlein's controversial Hugo Award-winning bestseller, A recruit from future goes through the toughest boot camp in the universe and into the battle against mankind's most alarming enemy. So obviously, you know, if you've seen the movie or you know anything about this, you know, it's fighting a bunch of space bugs, space aliens, super violent and bloody movie, way over the top, like uniting humanity into just basically military propaganda. So I'm interested to see how the books take on that and how different the movie was. All right, now, people in Discord already know what these are, but I'll bring them into frame here before I talk about what they are. You know, we'll take this one out because it's smaller. Does anybody have any guesses as to what these two behemoths are? Any guesses? They're pretty big. So I went ahead and got some more Stephen King as I'm getting into the Dark Tower here shortly and want to read more King. So I picked up The Stand, of course, the complete and uncut edition. So this MFR is almost 1,200 pages long. So gigantic. Everybody knows about The Stand. People praise it as one of his best books that he's ever done. And I'm going to read it as part of the Dark Tower read-through. So there is that one. And of course, the other big MFR. I just love this updated cover for this, based on Pennywise from the new movie. It's so cool. So of course it's hard to, this is like 20 pages less almost than The Stand. And this book is so thick. Like you could hurt somebody with this. And it's gonna look so sweet on the shelf. But yeah, so I mean, it and The Stand, everybody knows what they are. Don't really need to explain those, but I'm looking forward to both of them. They're just so long. I mean, I understand that like I've read through, you know, Stormlight Archive and almost all of the Wheel of Time at this point. Like big books shouldn't scare me. It's just, there's just something intimidating about it. I don't know what it is. They're spooky. And then I, of course, picked up Everything's Eventual because as many of these Dark Tower reading orders have, there's some things in here because I believe this is a collection of short stories. Yeah, there's 14 Dark Tales. So I don't know if you're supposed to read the entirety of it. Oh, it's such a nice floppy paperback too. I don't know if you're supposed to read all of it. I probably will, just to read more King. I've only read Salem's Lot. I own a bunch of King. I own way more than is reasonable for somebody who I haven't really read much of, but I am pretty confident that I'm going to enjoy most of his works and everything surrounding the Dark Tower especially. So I picked those up. So those were them. Now then, getting into the more fancier pile that I wanted to talk about. As I continue my collection of Dune novels, I went ahead and I picked up this gorgeous version that they sell at Barnes & Noble because they do all kinds of awesome, like leathery kind of hardcovers. So it's not illustrated or anything like that on, you know, the actual pages, but it's really well made. I mean, there's no chapters, but like there's certain pages that are a little bit fancy looking, and you do get some cool artwork. So you've got, you know, nice Thopter illustration there. And of course, some more, you know, Thopters flying over right there. So, I mean, I love this book. I love the look of this specifically, and I want to keep collecting them. I'm going to run out of room here. Dune can go right here. Because I also, as I mentioned in my last video, I ordered the Waterstone edition of it. That won't be here until a couple weeks from now. That'll be here at some point, and then I'll have, you know, the paperback, the really pretty anniversary edition, this one, the Waterstone, and then I'll probably end up getting the Folio Society one because that's also pretty dope. Next up, of course, I didn't get this initially when it came out. I wasn't sure if I loved the look of it, of Leviathan Wakes, but they had a bunch of copies at Barnes & Noble, so I went ahead and picked it up. It is cool though that one, it looks sweet without the dust jacket. Like that, the purple is just so vibrant on this, and that just looks great. Of course, you got the sprayed edges. You've got a map. Who would have thought? And then, if you haven't seen this already, you get, you know, the full image from the other artwork, and it's like super well done, and it's awesome. So yeah, Leviathan Wakes, ladies and gentlemen. Book 1 of The Expanse, which I will continue here soon. I've already read the first 2. I have many, many to go, and I will be getting back to that shortly. Probably next month if I had to wager a guess. All right, these next couple ones, and good Lord, did this cost some money to get to the US. If you order from Monderita Books for a special edition, jeepers, because The Lesser Devil by Christopher Rocchio. So this is that and other stories. So the Tales of the Sun Eater, stories that exist on Kindle and things like that. I don't know if there's a hardcover or like a paperback that you can get of those to this point, but this is basically a bind up of a bunch of these in a limited edition hardcover. They sold 500 copies. They are all signed by Rocchio himself. There you go. Mine was number 457, if we can see that. It's just gorgeous artwork. You got Crispin on the front there. You've got a bunch of other folks. It's gorgeous. I love Sun Eater. We'll definitely be talking about this more with Leanna when we continue into what is now books 4 and 5 coming out next year, because Rocchio had to split Kingdoms of Death into 2 books because of a paper shortage, apparently. So we will get 2 full Sun Eater novels next year, and we'll be talking about this too. We already talked about Lesser Devil, but we're going to read the rest of it and talk about those. This thing is heavy. Like, this is a pretty hefty book, man. And this is probably what I got before all of this, because words escape me. Zach Argyle, for those that don't know, is a fantasy writer, and he has these awesome looking fantasy books that he sold in hardcovers and signed them. So I saw this pop up on Instagram a few weeks back, Voice of War and Stones of Light. And first of all, I don't know shit about these books. I know that I love fantasy books. I know that they are deliciously short. They are not 800 pages, which is lovely. The artwork honestly has captured me since I first set eyes on them. I love the artwork, first of all. You get a nice bookmark with these as well, which I have sitting in a Memory of Light at the moment. You get, and this was, so these books were the SPFBO, what is it? It's right here, SPFBO, finalist last year for fantasy. Also won some like indie awards and things like that. So they should be pretty good. I mean, I've heard nothing but fantastic things about these books. See, there's Zach. There he is. All right. So, taking off the dust jacket as well. I don't know if this is going to show up well. Should I like shine the light on it? You've got these awesome like stencils almost, so just an outline cover, which looks sweet. And then, of course, they are signed. So let's go ahead and you got your map, you know, of Arison. And there you go. There's the Zach right there. So you got the 2 signed copies of these fantastic looking, gorgeous books of the Threadlight series. This is book 1 and 2. I'm gonna wager a guess it's a trilogy. If it's way more than that, I guess we'll find out, won't we, Zach? But I'm definitely looking forward to reading these. And, you know, reading some shorter fantasy books that aren't a billion pages, as many of these are. So that is the haul of books. I don't think I've bought anything. Oh, that's not true. I'm already lying, because I can't help myself. Again, I don't go through Kindle stuff. I get emails on a regular basis from Amazon, and I just click them. I just say, yep, I want that. So my Kindle library continues to grow, and who knows if or when I'll read most of them. But there's the book haul. Do I have anything else to say about it? I don't think I do. Definitely check out the merchandise if you want to, that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Easily distracted by dogs and books. They look super cool, and they're apparently very cozy as well. So I'm actually still waiting for mine to arrive. But that is gonna wrap up the book haul. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I won't buy books for a while. We all know that that's probably not true. I will likely be back with one of these in the next month or so. And yeah, there is a Yeah, there's some kind of bug crawling on the wall right there. Look at that. Yeah. There we go, guys. Until next time.